DC Fire and EMS working to get inside that condominium building along with the retail there. That water, if you can see it right there on the ground, really flowing still pretty quickly.
Pouring out of the building.
It's pouring out of the building. Okay, so we got James telling me, James Hash, our photojournalist, making the very good observation that water is pouring out of the building. So you have to, I mean, we'll have to figure out exactly how high the water was. You can actually see some sort of a container floating down Rhode Island Avenue here in Northeast. Really a surreal scene. But as they try to open up these doors and let the water flow out, so they can start what is going to be a long recovery process here. But as the flashing lights continue, as the sirens go off in the distance, this section has come to a complete standstill right now. Again, we have not seen any people thus far inside those cars. Thankfully, we believe that they were brought to safety before we got here. And again, just pointing out, this water is receding. It's receding quickly. That's good news. Guys, in the live shot that we started, I was telling you about the receding water. Right over there, there was water within this live shot, and now it's already gone down. So this is a quickly developing situation in which these floodwaters that came and just whooshed through this entire area and caught everybody on guard now seems to be almost going away just as quickly. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, so you were looking at District Dogs, and if you can ask James to pan back over to District Dogs, we've done considerable reporting about this business in particular, which back in 2022, I'm looking at some of our previous reporting, flooded maybe 3 times in a month. So this area has really been prone to flooding. And then there was the whole Northwest Boundary Tunnel that was supposed to be done earlier this year that was supposed to help alleviate some of this. Are you hearing anything about the status of that and in particular how District Dog is doing?
I don't, but I'm going to try and walk over here. I'm not going to try and surprise anybody, but if anybody who's a resident here, we're live on WUSA 9, can tell me what's going on. Are you guys from inside the building?
No comments.
Oh, you're from District Dogs.
Yeah.
Our anchor Leslie was just talking. You guys have had problems with flooding.
Later.
Okay, all right, well, I wish you the best. Obviously, I didn't see his shirt as somebody who was with District Dogs.
Eric,
so that flooding issues that you have been...
What are those barriers set up in front of the business? It's almost like they saw this coming, if I'm seeing those correctly. I saw sandbags and some sort of barrier system.
Right, I'm going to have to guess because the supervisors here are way too busy, I think, to talk to me right now. But it certainly seems like, and James is obviously giving you a different visual right now inside what's going on inside District Dogs as they try to. Oh wow, it does not look good in there at all. Obviously, you can tell now. You can see that water line, James. Why don't you check out the water line, which is about shoulder height to head high down there. So you're talking about 5 to 6 feet at least. The water was high inside this location. Obviously, the damage here is just going to be devastating. Longo, when you're talking about the barricades outside, I think it's pretty clear that this was an attempt to try and keep some of that water from flooding into this business. But I think that Mother Nature just won this round, as you can see, because we're watching the DC Fire and EMS personnel inside right now. And I mean, they still have water up to their ankles or higher as they try to sift through.
And we're looking at it with you as we're getting that view from Hash's camera and you standing there. We can see the firefighters in there. I don't know if you can see it as well as we can from this distance here, Eric, but we can see what they're up against there. And DC Fire apparently tweeted out recently that there have been no injuries. But one of the things that's pretty interesting, Ads, is this is District Dogs. We haven't seen any dogs around. Do we know anything about whether there were any dogs there at the time when all this happened?
When they tweet no injuries, I think we assume that's human injuries. But there does seem to be a considerable effort by all of those EMS folks right now inside of that building that wouldn't be there if this was just a water situation.
Yeah, it makes you wonder.
I just went over and asked one of the employees there, to your point, Leslie, and I asked her if all the dogs were okay, and I just got a no comment. We're getting a lot of concerned faces on the part of on the part of those who are wearing district dog shirts.
Can you tell us what the business is? Is it a dog daycare?
It is.
Yeah, it is dog boarding. I just confirmed that it's dog boarding.
Yeah, so
dog
what I'm
boarding,
remembering is they used to have dogs that would stay there overnight. So presumably there are likely potentially dogs there in their care if they were having some at this point. Obviously, it's a very traumatic situation for a lot of people.
Do you know if all the dogs are okay?
I don't, yeah.
Okay, I just asked one woman, and I don't think they really want to talk. I did just ask if we know if all the dogs are okay, and I think we just gotta, no, I don't. So as we come here and we're developing an understanding of what's going on here live on the scene, I think there is some concern about whether or not there are still animals inside. Again, I want to stress that is not confirmed. I'm just telling you what I'm seeing on the faces.
And Eric, to Leslie's point, that this has flooding like this has happened at this business, maybe not to this degree in the past. I go back to the point that I brought up a second ago about those seemingly water barricades that were set up in front of the business. I mean, that didn't appear to be something that would be set up rather quickly. Set up in anticipation of some sort of weather event, or perhaps it's a semi-permanent fixture outside of the store. I wonder if at some point James could get us another shot of that after we're seeing some of these shots inside of the business here, and also wondering if anyone on the street could tell you if that's just always there.
Yeah. First of all, I think we're going to leave the visuals with what's going on inside. I think that's the most compelling. I think I can also tell you the story as I'm down here at those barricades. We'll show you them in a bit, and whether or not this is something that would be thrown up quickly. These are large barricades. They have multiple very heavy sandbags in front of them. To your point, this is not something that can get thrown up in a minute or two or three. You can see as one of the district dog's employees walks by, you can really see how much time this took to get up. And I'm just trying to listen in on some of the other conversations that are going on here right now.
And while you're doing that, we can
Adam, to your
clearly
point,
see how much
I think you're right.
We can clearly see how much that water has receded just in the couple of minutes that you've been standing there. But yeah, you can see, concerned looks on the faces. You can only imagine being in that position if you've got
wondering if your dog is okay, or wondering if people you know are okay. These people are on phones, they're looking through the windows, they're watching every move that the firefighters and the emergency personnel are making. And then we saw another shot where we could see down where the cars were trapped, where it looked like people were trying to maybe get to their flooded cars. So a lot of activity there this evening.
Okay, sorry guys, if you were coming to me, I'm just trying to talk to some of the bystanders live without kind of, here comes the dog, James. Hey, here's some good news right
Puppy
here.
rescue.
Oh, that's
here's
terrific. 2 dogs.
Here's some heartwarming. Oh, wow, I just got chills. They look wet and they look scared, but they look okay. Let's just hope all of the dogs inside are the same. I'm gonna try and just.
Wow.
They're looking for the owners right now.
That's a terrific sight to see.
At least we can see a couple
right now.
of them are okay, Eric. Yeah, and you can see. Look at that looks like it might be the owner of the business. There's certainly people that work there just checking to make sure the dogs are okay. And looks like maybe he's reuniting them with their owners. Oh,
yeah,
wow.
It looks like that's what we're seeing live on WUSA 9 right
Looks
now,
like
and it's. And they're obviously, those owners are obviously.
Oh, here
there's
comes
another
more.
one coming out, a
Yeah.
couple more coming out.
Great. And you consider the stress on this business right now. You see this dog with the leash, but are they able to access leashes for these dogs that they need to get out? Are they able to access kennels to bring out? We only
Looks
have
like
no
they're
idea how
just-
many dogs are inside.
Yeah, they're literally, we're seeing this in real time as the firefighters and the rescuers are getting to these dogs, and you can see them getting them to the people who've been waiting for them, waiting for some sort of update since all of this happened. And there's got to be a lot of relief over there as each one of these dogs comes out and is reunited with their loved ones.
Relief for us, relief for everyone
And
watching.
I would just like to,
absolutely.
And if I can just pop in here, and we don't know everything that happened, but I can say right off the bat, kudos and applause and cheers for DC Fire and EMS, who knew what they were doing and knew the mission in front of them, and looks like they have succeeded in many, many cases.
Does it look like it's still active? Does it look like they're still working to rescue even more pets that are in there, or has the...
I'm going to go to a different angle than James Hash is at, so I can see a different angle into.
Just wonder if the posture of the EMS folks has changed.
Yeah, there are still. Oh, okay. So I'm looking. You're not seeing this from James's standpoint, but I'm looking into the front of the building. Here comes James, and if you go, Hash, if it's just straight back there, and my reflection is in it, there are at least two. I can see two red hats, which indicate the fire and EMS personnel. There are flashlights. So I don't think the search is over.
So they're still
going.
And I don't know.
There's another dog that just came out. Multiple dogs. Another dog just came out. Sorry, James. I think that one's already gone. But there's another dog. I think I've counted 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, maybe a half dozen dogs already that have been brought out of this dog boarding facility, as it was described to me.
Boy, they've had
so we just don't know how many.
Yeah, they've had quite a day.
I'm sorry, Les. I was just going to say we just don't know. Yeah.
And you can see, I mean, it's clear that there's still work to be done, as you see the staffers at District Dogs that are really sort of laser focused on making sure that these dogs are going to be okay and that they're reunited.
I see more dogs inside. I see more dogs inside coming out right now. There are more dogs coming out right now.
And now the challenge, now the challenge for this business is you see the gentleman there in the green shorts has been handing off these dogs to a woman. Where are they taking them if their owners are not on the scene? If they're being boarded because the owners are out of town? Now,
keep in mind, it would have been impossible.
Go ahead, Eric.
It would have been impossible. It would have been impossible for them to get here. I mean, they might have been able to,
that too,
get as close as they could, park and run. But
here comes another one.
It's blocked off.
Eric, here comes another dog right here coming out, which is.
That dog is soaked.
Each time we see them, so as we're seeing them, and we've got to remember these dogs were likely in a flooded space. Yeah. They're in an area where they were were enclosed, right? And they look very traumatized. But certainly the best news of the day here is that they're able to get to them, and they're getting them out of that water. There's another 4 of them that have just come out. 5 more have come out.
James,
6.
Yeah, here's a reunion going on right now, James. I don't know if you can get it, but I can see the tears in her eyes. And I think she was just reunited.
The best feeling.
Is this your little
dog?
Okay. She's not. I think
overcome
after the look on her face says it all.
What she's been through. Just waiting to see if everything was going to be okay.
Not knowing. Yeah, but not knowing.
Yeah,
I think we've counted roughly a dozen dogs come out of there right now.
Yeah, and they keep coming. There's another little one. There's another little one. And again, we don't know if these are the owners or just people who are trying to support these dogs to get them into a spot where, and maybe I can ask this woman. I was just going to see. I wanted to ask you, are you a dog? Okay, a lot of people kind of not in the mood to talk right now. I think maybe understandably and rightfully focused on the dogs themselves, but
Surely. This community has really come together around District Dogs because they've been through this before. The dogs have been through this situation before, and yet they continue to come back. You just really hope that whatever the construction remedy is for some of this helps so that we're not in this situation over and over again. And you got to wonder if you're the owner of District Dogs, if you're going to want to keep having to undergo this. But when you see these little dogs come out, I mean, this is the best possible outcome after a really awful, awful day there.
Yeah, and I can just describe to you what I'm seeing, and I'm seeing conversations between that gentleman in the District Dog shirt and many of the people who are carrying these dogs away, and they're intense conversations and they're emotional conversations. And with the reporting and IFB in my ear, it's hard to clearly really hear exactly what is being said back and forth. I think the biggest and most important thing is that every dog parent who walks away with their dog in their arms right now knows that there's a lot of questions maybe moving forward, but certainly for now, if you're walking away with your dog scared, wet, but in still barking and in one piece, then that's the most important thing. And there are more dogs coming out.
And
this is one of the most
really to DC EMS
remarkable
and fire
scenes.
Because I don't think you can imagine a training situation where this is something that they go through, right? Having to go into an enclosed, tight, flooded space to rescue as many dogs as you can.
There's another one. He's happy to come out of there.
And they're doing
too.
an amazing job. I mean, we've got at least a dozen or so dogs that have come out so far, Eric. And we just hope and pray for the best for all of the dogs that might still be
for all
inside.
of them. We just don't know how. Yeah, Longo. We just don't know how far back they go. Here's 2 more coming out, 3 more coming out. I wish I had kept a count, but we have to be over 2 dozen. We just have to be at this point.
Yeah, it looks like it. A lot of people who board their dogs are away on vacation. So, you've got to believe that there's some folks who may be hearing about this who aren't here right now and certainly wondering about their dogs. But boy, this has got to be relieving in a lot of ways for folks who use this service.
James, let's go this way because it looks like there's a bit of I don't know. We're not going to lose the signal in here, are we?
Possibly.
Yeah, we may lose the signal. Let me. All right, don't lose the signal. Let me just peek in here and see what's going on, because it seems a lot of the staff members. So it looks like there is a bike storage room, in this garage here, and it looks like a lot of the dogs are just being temporarily put into this bike storage room for safety. I'm seeing a lot of the same faces that are helping, whether they're associated or just concerned neighbors, helping bring these dogs into this bike storage room. So I think